it's your turn as Kenyans. It's your turn to stop listening to people, to stop listening to one figurehead, to stop listening to one character, painting an illusion of an imaginary delayed gratification that 2027 we are going to have a political party. We are going to cook up a logo using ChatGPT, a poorly done logo with pathetic colors, and we are going to have, that's where we are going to have change. That's where we are going to have our prosperity. No, Kenyans, your prosperity should come now. Kama si leo ni sasa. Kama si sasa ni sasa hivi. You understand, fellow Kenyans? Your work is not to listen. Your work is not to follow blindly. These people, these characters, these charlatans, they have been in this business. They have been in activism. They have been purporting to be fighting for our interests. But within the same period that they've been active, we have seen a total regression. We have seen the country relapse to a one-party state. You understand? So it's not about you looking forward to strategies. You've always had the power. You've always had the opportunity. You've always had the ability. You have just been consuming fear. You have just been sold for surrender. They have told you that you are incapable. They have told you that you are you're inadequate. But you are powerful beyond measure, Kenyans. The day that you stopped giving clout to politicians, the day that you stopped giving clout to the propagandists of the regime, that's when they started feeling the pinch. Now you have withdrawn your attention. You have withdrawn your clout from the politicians. What more power do you think you yield? You yield more power beyond measure. You wield a lot of power that you can flex at any time, but they always try and convince you, they always try and hoodwink you that you don't have the power, that you must wait for this promised. The promise is turning out to be in the afterlife. When you die, do you want to die to experience prosperity in this country of ours, this country that our parents have fought for, this country that freedom fighters fought for? Do you want to experience prosperity after death? No. We deserve good living right now. We deserve good governance right now. We deserve to be in the canon, in the proverbial canon. We should be experiencing it today, not in the afterlife. Many of the parents, the older generations who have died being promised that things will be better, that we are going to get tarmac roads here, that we are going to have a super highway from Mombasa to Malaba, that we are going to have speed trains. Every time we are approaching that moment, it seems to have been hijacked. It seems to have been disrupted. By who? By a few characters, by a few politicians who are here amongst us, who we can disrupt, who have opted to defy the people who have the power, the people who have put them in those positions. They have opted to defy them. And so can we proceed in this state of affairs? Can we continue with people who are tone deaf, people who are not listening to us? Do you want to continue? Talking to people is almost like you're talking to a stone. Ni kama kupigia mbuzi guitar. Must you always bring down somebody who has the initiative, who has the right mentality? I have volunteered this because I have looked at the people you have been foisting. Ever since June 23rd, let me tell you how this thing happened. In 2022, I told you TikTok allowed people to post longer content. Previously, it was just 1 minute. That's why you were only seeing Aziat's ass. She was twerking. It's a nice ass to see, but that's all you could see because they only had 30 seconds and 1 minute. Then it moved to 3 minutes. Then we started shooting longer content. We started talking like this. Then it moved to 10 minutes. So I started doing civic education. Other Kenyans joined in. Now TikTok is one big hub of civic education, civic awareness, over and above comedy and entertainment. We need a mix because we don't live in isolation. We don't live in vacuum. There is no way you can be twerking 24/7, oblivious to what is happening to your political environment. And as we know, siasa mbaya, maisha mbaya. So your political awareness is inversely proportional to your standard of living. So people started doing it on TikTok. Within 2 years, TikTokers had already done a lot of civic education. We knew where the problem was. And one of the remedies was Ruto must go. reject the finance bill, so they started mobilizing. Now, we moved from TikTok, we gave the revolution to people on X. We gave these chronic opportunities. We met Hanifa Edan. There was Osama Otero. There was Kimuzi, who is in Israel. All these clowns, we gave them the opportunity to steer the movement. We met who? Boniface Mwangi, that cocksucking idiot. We gave all these characters, we hoisted them, and they were leading the movement, which they don't know how it came about, because you ask Osama Otero whether he can interrogate a finance bill. He's an idiot who makes laptops and sells stolen cell phones, stolen mobile phones in Imenti House. So what would he know about reading a finance bill? But because he was there at the right place at the right time, he was printing t-shirts, they got the clout, and we handed the movement to them. What did they do to it? They squandered it. We've given, other people have come. We have charlatans who have popped out of nowhere. We have Morara Kebaso came out of nowhere. Started showing you, I don't know what, Vampire Diaries, just rubbish, just showing you project after project. But with one Vampire Diary series, it was 10 sideshows. Oh, my car is spoiled. Oh, I need money for fuel. Oh, I need what? Every day, every hour, every minute, it was just a sideshow from Morara Kebaso. And you had foisted him, you had anointed him as your leader. Has he provided any form of leadership? The only leadership that he has provided is, oh, I'm going to form a political party, it's called Inject. Shortly after, his entire team has abandoned him. Another sideshow altogether. The team abandoned him and went to Okia Omtata's side. It's almost like the transfer window of football. Ni wachezaji wa kulipwa. They're going to the highest bidder. So Okia Omtata now is the highest bidder. Now they moved. They moved from Morara's team. That's Kayoti Sonko Mabonga and his team. They moved from Morara's team. Now they went to who? Okia Omtata. Okia Omtata now comes. He says he has gazetted a committee, an exploratory committee for his presidential bid. Because he's such an important person. He needs a committee. He needs to even gazette one. Who have you ever had gazetting a committee? Why are you gazetting it? But it's been sideshow after sideshow. He says that he's going to come in 2027. He's going to be the solution. He's going to be the knight in shining armor. He's going to drop down from heaven in chariots, coming to liberate Kenyans from malfeasance and bad governance, which he has been part of, which he is a senator in. So every other time you've been foisting, you've been venerating characters who have been driving you from your purpose, from your goal. And your goal right now should be nothing short of this government going down. That is your only goal, that is your only objective. I come here today because Monday, 6th of January, was a success beyond our wildest imaginations and dreams. Monday 6th, you adhered to the law. You adhered to the directive that I gave over here, that there will be no work, there will be a holiday on Monday 6th January. What they are not telling us, what they are not quantifying is the losses that the government incurred because of that. Because if they told you, then you'd realize the power has always been in your hand. You'd realize that economic boycotts hurt governments, sometimes even more than mass action. Sometimes even more than hitting the streets, protest, because they have blocked us from protesting. They have blocked us, they have sent police, they have sent goons, they have sent people to come and abduct us, all because you appeared in the streets. They hurl tear gas, sometimes even expired. They lob tear gas canisters, they do all sorts of nonsense. But that's because they have opted that way, because we could have been going to protest a few people, then we go back home. Because they have opted to go through that process. Now, even us, we have to embark on our own scorched earth policy. We have to embark on our own civic disobedience measures. We have to embark on our own revenge, retaliation to bad governance. We cannot be fueling, we cannot be funding this government that is continuing to treat us with contempt. You saw Kimani Ichung'wah at the funeral last week. You had Amason Kingi. You had this other idiot, Waluke, all of them defending abductions. Can we continue in this state of affairs that they are not only stealing our money, they are vomiting on our shoes, insulting our intelligence, literally telling us to go fuck ourselves and we are supposed to clap for them, we are supposed to operate as if this is business as usual? No! We have to change tack because I told you stupidity is repeating the same thing, expecting different results. So now we move with a different strategy, with a different approach. We have seen their limitations. We have seen what hurts them. And anytime you fuck with their money, people will tend to listen. People will tend to do as you want. So in recognition of the successful Monday 6, people declared a holiday. In recognition that the sovereign power belongs to the people according to Article 1 of the Constitution. You have always had the power in your hands. You have always been the person who can drive change. It's not me. It's not Morara Kebaso. It's not Okia Omtata. It's not Boniface Mwangi and his pathetic wife who went to hijack the women's protest on Monday. It's not all those charlatans. It's not all those opportunities, opportunists. It's not all those clowns. It's not all those jackasses. We have seen that anytime we want to mobilize, they will always appear to hijack the cause, to hijack the attention, to hijack all, to hemorrhage attention and resources from the actual victims, from the cause. So if street protests are being hammered both by state and non-state actors, if street protests are being undermined by both state and non-state actors, then will it continue being a viable way of bringing down this government? No. Let's explore other complementary strategies that can go parallel to intended mass action or protest, street protests. So all ideas are welcome. I had challenged the techies to target the government, whatever potholes, instead of hitting on those who are attempting. Why don't you, who think you have the skills, why don't you, who think you have the knowledge and the know-how, why don't you step up to the plate? Why don't you then say, no, this is not how it's done, this is me, let me show you how it's done. Instead of throwing shade at somebody else, don't be like the 844. 844 has always taught people that instead of our uniqueness, you always have to copy somebody. That's why all of you, when you open a business, you open a butchery over here, you have 5 other butcheries the next opening with you. Because you lack the creativity. You are taught that for you to gain, somebody else must lose. It doesn't have to be that way. If somebody was attempting to bring down the DCI website, you don't have to throw shade at his strategy. He's trying. He's in the field. He's not sleeping. He's not just staying there watching news helpless. He's being proactive. Now, can you be proactive yourselves instead of throwing shade? All of you techies, all of you geeks who are throwing shade on my thread, why can't you show us? Since that guy does not know how to work, why can't you show us? I'm challenging you, why can't you show us? Why can't you teach us how it's done? If I knew me, I would do it myself. I wouldn't be like you guys there. You are living large. You are living good. You had a good birthday, road trips, while your people are being abducted, and you have some skills that can be harnessed, that can bring positive change, and you are throwing shade? Come on, techies. Give us a fucking break. You don't throw shade at somebody who is trying. Don't throw shade at somebody who is on the ground doing something, and you have not even volunteered to do anything. Okay? Thank you very much, Wangeshi Kenya. Thank you for, I've seen your tweet. Naendelea kufinya, lazima nifinye hawa watu. Lazima nifinye hawa wasenge, lazima nimu-injection. Huh? So, It is incumbent upon every Kenyan to exploit any avenue that you can participate to undermine the government that is continuing to oppress us. We are living in a state of oppression. Every day I'm finding DCI or NIS people just trying to hack my phone, trying to know my whereabouts so that they can arrest me, so they can go and dump me in some forest. Do some social experiment that like what they've done with Tibet. Tibet is tweeting, we cannot even tell whether it's a real Tibet or not. We don't know because we are telling him, Tibet bull, can you give us a video to show that you are the one who is tweeting? There's nothing of the sort. The same thing we've been telling Maverick Aoko, can you give us a video? No. So this account could be in the hands of somebody else. So that's what you want. They want you to do, they want to do to me. That's why they are tracking me. So we have to change tact. We have to move differently. We have to now adopt a different strategy. We have now understood who are our enemies. Our enemies are outside and within, even within the movement. There are people who are just taking us into the wilderness. They are not offering leadership. They are not offering solutions. And in this time of universal deceit, this is when we need leadership. This is when we need direction. This is when we need a way forward, and we cannot do it when people are just perambulating around the same issues. You're telling us in January 2025, engage the government. What new do they have to tell us? Well, are you fucked in the head? Do they have anything new to tell us? Do they have anything new to show us? Is there even any complete project ever since these people got into office? Every day they are in a tent, addressing us, giving us speeches, throwing cheap threats and empty rhetoric. You think this is going to end? It's going to be your way of life for the next 3 years. If you allow it, if you refuse to follow different strategies, if you follow the distractions, if you watch Gaitho media will not liberate us right now. Gaitho media are sleeping in bed with the enemy, all the constitutional office holders, all the members of the civil society, the entire parliament and senate, the judiciary. Maybe we have some individual judges who are doing the work of the Lord's work. But we know itself is a broken system that needs overhaul. Not on the terms of Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, not because he's asking, because somewhere he feels aggrieved and he wants to be the beneficiary. No, not because he wants to install his own puppets as Chief Justice and whatnot, but because we understand that a good judiciary is important for a healthy democracy. So in light of the fact that Kenya has been converted into a one-party state with the full acquiescence of all arms of government, in light of the fact that now Kenya is now a dictatorship, a de facto dictatorship, where all orders come from one man, in light of the fact that the parliament has been captured, Senate is a tissue paper for the executive, in light of the fact that the opposition have been bought, that we don't have a semblance of opposition. We've never had an opposition since 2013. Kenya has never had a functional opposition since 2013. They make noise in the media, but then when it comes to voting, especially on bills that all of them share mutual benefits, they seem to be voting as one. So we've never had a functional opposition since 2013. Our judiciary, you've seen, they brought down any appeal. Any appeal that is targeted at the good for Mwananchi, they've shut it down. You've seen our judiciary targeting bloggers because of exercising their constitutional entitlement of free speech. This is our judiciary. That we have a magistrate who can put an arrest warrant and say for the attention of Interpol, and he knows very well that Interpol, according to their statutes, do not pursue political dissidents or people or cases revolving freedom of speech. Now, is that judge, is he updated on the current laws? Why would he make such a blunder? Why is he still practicing? Why hasn't he been disbarred by the Law Society of Kenya? So in light of the fact that all the tenets of democracy, the media have been captured, the civil society have been captured, the church are lackluster, the foreign nations are on the fence, it is incumbent upon you as a taxpayer, as an ordinary citizen, to now flex your muscle. All these elements depend on your money. All these arms of the government depend on your money. You understand? They rely on your money. So the day when you start using your money right, they will feel the pinch. I know you're wondering now what next. I know that's the next question you're going to ask. How do we move forward? And right now, here and now, God as my witness, I declare myself as a leader of opposition in Kenya, because we've not had an opposition since 2013. And the people that they are fronting as a semblance of opposition have always turned out to disappoint us. So I am now your leader of opposition, your de facto leader of opposition. And my second declaration is that on January 27th, we are going to have another public holiday. There is going to be another public holiday on January 27th. In January, we have given them. This is how we are going to move. This is the format we are going to operate, because we have to choke their money. Anytime we cause a holiday, because Kindiki Kizura used to wake up, or this buffoon Fred Matiang'i used to wake up and declare a holiday whenever they feel like. Why can't us citizens do the same? We can do the same. Why am I being asked to comply with a police order or with a court order to appear in court, while the Inspector General himself, Douglas Kanja, while the DCI Director Mohammed Amin, they have been all the time, they have been disregarding court orders. They have been disobeying court orders all their life. Why should I present myself so that they can go and kill me? So as your opposition leader, this is my first declaration. In our first act of civil disobedience, January 27th will be a holiday. Not going to work, not doing anything. No opening your shop, not doing anything. January 27th, that will be our first act. We have to choke their money. We have to leave CBD empty. Because anytime we want to go and protest and speak, which is now how it should be done, then they send police, they send hooded and masked thugs. Did you see they had a police truck, which has an non-existent police station? Meaning that if they arrest you, those people, you don't know where they are going to take you. You don't know even whether they are official policemen or not. So because they have refused us to go to the streets, we are going to protest at home. January 27th, take this screen grab, please. I need you to take this screen grab because I don't need any contradiction. Those TikTokers who are taking screen grabs, please. January 27th will be a public holiday declared by the people, for the people, in our first act of civil disobedience. We have done it twice because we did it on January 6th and we are going to do it on January 27th. There will be a national strike. We are done with waiting for Francis Atwoli. The trade unions have also been captured. Francis Atwoli to declare strikes. We stopped. All the teachers, all of them have been infiltrated. The doctors, unions, the student leaders have been infiltrated. So we cannot expect these people to mobilize on our behalf because their leadership structures have been crumbled. They have been undermined. They have been captured. So it's us as a people to communicate amongst ourselves. And so we have declared January 27 a national strike day and a national holiday. So we have given them 2 in January. Now this is what will happen. Because our grievances are only 2. We only have 2 grievances. We are not beating around the bush. We are not wasting time. We are not, I don't know what. Listen to our grievances. Grievance number 1, President William Ruto to dissolve Parliament and Senate. and then to resign and hand over to a caretaker government. The caretaker government will be formed later, not by him. That is demand number one. Demand number two, or option number two, scenario number two, is Parliament to convene an emergency to impeach President Ruto, swiftly followed by an impeachment by the Senate, which will force Ruto out of office. And then Parliament can also go home, because why would they continue staying? Even them, they go home together. And we will leave the country in the hands of a caretaker government. It will be a multi-stakeholder. People from all fields will be represented. I have no interest to be there. And they are going to chart the country's destiny. They are going to embark on reforms. If it's IEBC, who said that Ruto must be the one to name the IEBC? The people who are saying Ruto name IEBC are on payroll. Because it's lazima, we can have an independent outfit, can have a caretaker. They come, they embark on judicial reforms, they embark on reforms, reconstituting our constitutional bodies. So those are our two demands, nothing short of that. So we are going to have in January, it's two. One, the first one we had on January 6th, massive success. The next one is Monday, January 27th. So the first Monday and the last Monday of January. Now, February is not going to be business as usual, because we understand and we know that there's a tendency they might refuse. We understand, we know these people, they are power hungry. So February, every Monday in February will be a national strike. There will not be any work. You will not open your business. You will not go to work, because this will be our way of expressing our civic disobedience. This will be our way of protesting, because anytime we go to the streets, they meet us with a lot of violence, with a lot of abduction. So every Monday in the month of February, the more they continue staying in office, if they refuse to step down, if William Ruto refuses to dissolve parliament and him resigning, if he refuses to do all of that, so we are going to be protesting every Monday in the month of February. Now, worst case scenario, if they refuse to accede to our demands, then in the month of March, we will go for a full-blown daily strike. Not going to work, but no protesting, because you know protesting, they are going to meet us with violence. They are going to send their goons to abduct us. So we cannot follow that route. They have clearly shown us that that route is not plausible. So in the month of March, if they will not have resigned, we are going to be striking every day. We will not be going to work. We will not be opening our shops until he steps down. And wallahi billahi, let me promise you, that kind of a lockdown, that kind of a grind to the economy, this government will not even have money to pay the police. They will not have money to pay the military. Things will just start moving and happening. So please understand that the power is in your hand. What you have thought to be impossible can be achieved. We are slowly breaching the fear barrier. There is no longer fear now. We have seen all the cards that they have to deal. We have seen the extent and the length that they are willing to go just to hold on to power. And we have seen, we have understood that William Ruto is no longer the darling of the West, is no longer the darling of Africa. They were touting him as the incoming African statesman. When he went to Ghana, nobody had time for his bullshit. Nobody even recognized his presence. He was hidden there with the former presidents. Nobody even understood that he was in that country. We have seen that in the last 3 months, William Ruto, there is no single Muzungu who has gone to see him, be it an envoy, be it a visiting dignitary, because there is a red line that Muzungus don't cross, even if you are doing business with them, even if you are giving their country. They cannot condone, they cannot be seen to be associating with things like abductions and forced disappearances, arresting of political dissidents. These are serious crimes within the Western establishment, so they cannot be seen to be propping, in as much as they might be supporting you clandestinely. They cannot be seen with you publicly. So we have understood that he has lost grace within the eyes of the people that he once loved, that he once adored, who are the Muzungu. So knowing that, we can see that his stature is weakening by the day. So every intervention, that he once loved, that he once adored, who are the Muzungu. So knowing that, we can see that his stature is weakening by the day. So every intervention, Hello, Kenyans. Thank you for joining me on this live stream where we are going to make major announcements.